do a very condensed version. I typically teach a 2-hour CE class. So of course this one's going to be combined in about 45 minutes and then hopefully interview style here at the end. But how to be a script master. So I really want you to think about scripts because a lot of us have a negative connotation towards scripts. And really, if we change our mindset on what scripts are, it's just the anatomy of a conversation. So just because you practice and you learn scripts doesn't mean you have to sound quote unquote scripted. And just think of it as the anatomy of a conversation, and it's just meant to kind of redirect you back to what your end goal is. Randy, I don't know about you, but my there seems to be quite a delay whenever I try to move the slides.
We're having a little bit of a delay in the world today. I think it's just so many slide decks.
Right.
I'm not sure how to do that today.
Okay. Well, worst case, let me just plug this link into the text chat. And if you guys want to follow along on your own, then that should work also. So we'll get around it. We'll make it work. All right, so just a little bit of background on myself. Obviously, my name's Micah. I'm a broker associate with EXP. I have been here for a little over 5 years, agent number 333. I'm also a second-generation real estate investor. I've been a managing broker, a regional director, run a team, so done kind of some various positions. Last year in the Top 100 magazine, I was named one of the Top 100 magazine in real estate. And then this year for Oklahoma City, named one of the top social media influencers, married, mother of 2 wonderful boys. So for those of you that are juggling, family life right now, especially with the kiddos at home, I completely understand and trying to grow your business as well. So kind of a lot going on. But the first thing that I'd like you to start with is defining your goals and what's your true objective. So with that, becoming more intentional on every appointment and call that you make. So why are you making the calls? Why is making the calls so important to you? What does that mean? What is the end objective? And a lot of us start with limited beliefs. And what that means is I hear over and over again, I don't want to call now because I'm bothering them. That's probably one of the most standard that I hear. But my first question to you would be, when was your last sale? And I was actually talking to an agent not too long ago, and she had a sale about 2 weeks prior. And I said, okay, did you help those clients or were you bothering them? And she said, no, of course I helped them. They relocated from another state, and very excited about that. And so once I changed her mindset on was she helping them or was she bothering them, she was then able to make the calls. And one of the reasons why this conversation came up was increasing her conversion rate. And I asked her how she was, working her leads. And she talked about setting them up on the drip campaign and emailing them. But, phone calls were not really involved. But the fact of the matter is we're in a relationship business. We're in a service business. And in order to build that relationship, you have to pick up the phone. You have to have those conversations. So one thing that I would encourage you to do is to create a power hour, which is 1 hour every day for intentional conversations with people in your database and new prospects. So during those, you're going to ask one of 2 things. You're either going to ask for the appointment if there's somebody that's looking for either a home or right now or to sell a home, or you're going to ask for the referral. Okay. And I always suggest in starting first thing in the morning because you want to get the most undesired task completed first. So I don't know anybody that truly enjoys cold calling, but when you start it and you do it, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning, and you do this from 8 to 9 o'clock, so that could be considered your power hour, then you feel like you've conquered the entire day and the day's only just begun. Now, if you kind of let it linger throughout the day and it's mentally draining you, then that's where some of the challenges come because it's draining your energy the entire day. So start first thing in the morning, do your power hour, get it over with. Don't call before 8 o'clock. I'm sure some people won't appreciate that. And then also set expectations and know the average conversion rate. So what I mean by that is set expectations for yourself. And so if you know the average conversion rate, let's say nationally or in your market, for example, maybe 3%, then you know you need to make 100 phone calls to 100 leads in order to potentially close 3 deals in the next 6 months. And the reason why that's so important is if you don't understand those numbers, then you're going to get really down on yourself when you make 100 phone calls and it doesn't all work. So I just got a message. William said that he's now joined us. William, can you hear me? Are you up here on stage? Let me see. Awesome. William, is your audio working? Okay, I'll keep going until he responds. So that's what you want to do first. And then I want you to ask yourself, how much could you earn if you were well prepared and practiced? Okay, so if you look at every other profession, and I know William has talked about this to the agents that he coaches as well, if you look at athletes or movie actresses and actors, or really any other profession, your doctor, I hope that they're all practicing. Every other profession must practice. So why would it be any different as a real estate agent? Okay. So you have to first ask yourself, why did you get into real estate? And then are you fulfilling those goals currently? And if you're not, how much is it costing you by not making those calls? So the number one reason you fail is your own mindset. I'm sure we've all heard that one before. So we can teach all the tactical stuff today, but the fact of the matter is, if your mindset is not set up correctly, then around, helping people and serving people and making those calls, then honestly, none of this matters. And I know that's kind of hard to hear about in the beginning, but the next thing I'd like you to do before we get into scripts is determine who your ideal client is. So once you have determined your ideal client, that might be a first-time home buyer, that might be somebody looking for a home to retire in, or investors, whatever that may be, determine who that is, and then answer the question, what problem do you solve for them? Because you want to lead with value. Okay, and then once you have determined that, look at the demographics, what social media platforms are they on, and ask for those referrals. Sphere. You're going to cold call, of course, go after for sale by owners. For sale by owners and expireds, the interesting thing is these are sellers that are literally raising their hands and saying that they want to sell their home. I know even Brad Anderson has taught classes with Zillow and the Make Me Move, where they've given a price and they said, if I'm offered a price, I'm willing to move. So look at the same thing with for sale by owners and expireds. These are people raising their hand saying, I'm ready to sell. So how can you help serve them? And of course, we have your traditional, internet leads, your past clients, etc. So what I'd like you to do is look at all those various ways that you can lead generate and pick 4 of them. So pick 4 lead generation buckets. And you're going to focus on those 4 because, of course, in real estate, there's a lot of shiny objects, but we want to pick 4 and then really focus on the 4 because we're going to develop the business plan around those 4 lead generation buckets. So how much time are you spending on your plan? Okay, so plan stands for prospecting, lead follow-up, appointments, and negotiating contracts. Okay, those are the 4 very important areas of real estate. And for those of you that are a Tony Robbins fan like myself, he teaches the 5 phases of mastery. Number 1 is creation, then implementation, momentum, stabilization, and mastery. So mastery is possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that you make them master of you. So the point in all of this is if you practice enough and you become a master of scripts, you become a master of the anatomy of a conversation, then it becomes natural and it doesn't sound scripted. So what you say matters. The important thing is we're all in real estate. We all like to, hear ourselves talk. We are the professionals, so we like to offer advice. But the important thing to note in scripts is you have to ask good questions. And then you want to listen to their answers and make sure that you're sincerely listening because anytime somebody can always tell if you ask a question and then you're just waiting for them to stop talking so you can ask your next question, that can very well be sensed. And so make sure that you're asking questions, you're pausing, and you're waiting for their answers. And as we've talked about, don't make it sound automated or scripted, and show that you care and are sincere in helping. Okay. And then talk about what makes you different. So that's the biggest thing in not competing with all the other real estate agents and competing with everybody else that's calling for sell by owners and expireds, is tell them what makes you different. What's going to make you unique? And only you can answer that. And then find out their problem and why, and then solve it. Okay? And that's where we're going to serve them. We're going to show them that we sincerely care. Okay? Reassure throughout the conversation that you're there to help assist them. And then also don't act too salesy, but speak with confidence and certainty. So there's a big difference in being confident and speaking with certainty and not being pushy or salesy. And of course, always introduce yourself in the conversation. Don't leave them guessing. And the reason I say this, I had a spam call probably a couple years ago, and he didn't answer him. He didn't acknowledge who he was. He just picked up the phone, and he acted like as if he was a good friend of mine. Now, of course, I was careful in the conversation because I talk to a lot of people every single day. So I didn't want to acknowledge that I didn't know who it was. But instead of paying attention to the conversation, I was thinking the entire time of how the heck do I know this person? And so I don't want you to be that person, because that's a horrible cold call, because once he spun the conversation and I saw that he was there to sell me something, I was quite frustrated that I just wasted 15 minutes with somebody that I didn't even know. So don't be that person. Every conversation that I have is going to start with, hey, this is Micah Mruwat with eXp Realty. I know that, and if you don't know them, you can say, I know that you don't know me, but here's why I'm calling. Always explain why you're calling them, because your time is valuable and their time is valuable. Even when I answer my phone, I say, this is Micah. Even doesn't matter who it is. And so just always acknowledge who you are in the conversation. Now, scripts, practice makes you more professional. So we've talked about every other profession that you want to practice just like every other profession. So now we're going to go over just a couple of various conversations that you might have. And the first one could be referrals. So if you're calling some of your past clients, you could say a couple things like, hey, this is Micah. I loved working with you and would love to help others that you care about. Is there anyone you know that I can help? You want to keep your scripts simple and short and always add value to the conversation. The next one, if you want to be a little bit more direct, you could say, my goal is to sell 20 homes this year. I would love if you could help me out. Do you know anyone that may be interested in the market for a new home in the next 6 months? And the reason that I'm giving them that 6-month timeline is because if I just ask you the question, do you know anyone that may be in the market for a new home? Well, mentally, I have just directed you to only think about people that you know that are interested right now in this moment. And so you may not know anyone. But when I say 12 months, I wouldn't go further than 12 months, then you start mentally thinking about the people that down the road who might be looking for a home. So do you know anyone recently married, had a baby, or promoted at their job? They may be able to use my services and I would love to reach out. So this is another one where I'm asking a very direct question, but I'm also directing it to 3 things. Have they been recently married, had a baby, or promoted at their job? And the reason this is important, again, I'm directing the person on how to think. And so they're going to answer according to the questions that I've asked. And the last one that you can ask here based on referrals is I wanted to share with you some exciting news. I got my real estate license and I have an awesome mentor. I'm looking for my first few clients. Can you help me out? So of course, this one is directed towards somebody that just got into the industry, and there's a couple things that I did in this conversation. Number 1, I tell them that I'm licensed. Number 2, I'm telling them that even though I'm new licensee, that I've been assigned a mentor. So I've been assigned with somebody that is an expert in their field. And then I'm also, number 3, looking for some clients and then asking them for help. So be very direct in your conversations because people will appreciate that as opposed to just continuing to keep them guessing. The next one is if you're going after for sale by owners, then of course, FSBOs, for sale by owners, you can ask several different questions. And again, think about scripts as the anatomy is, are you still accepting offers? Great. I would love to come take a tour. Is today at 4 or tomorrow at 12 better for you? So a couple things I did in that conversation. I've confirmed that they're still looking to sell, which, they wouldn't be on the market if they weren't. and I'm asking to come take a tour. But more importantly, I say, is today at 4 or tomorrow at 12? Because I'm securing a couple different time frames. Because if you just say, when can I come for a tour, then, you know, the likeliness of you securing that appointment goes down significantly. The next one here, I work with buyers in your area, but not familiar with your house. Can I stop by today after dinner for a quick tour? Okay. Now, of course, only say that if it's truthful that you have buyers in the area. And I see a couple people here. I apologize. The slide deck was not rotating through, so I just posted the link, and you can be able to follow me there. Aside from paying a commission, is there any other reason you wouldn't hire a professional? Okay. I love this one because it really hits hard on the for sale by owners, because of course they think we just put a sign in the yard, and then we get paid this hefty commission. They have no idea what all's involved. So at this point, you're asking them why they wouldn't hire a professional. If you notice, I didn't say realtor, I didn't say real estate agent, I said professional. And there's a reason for that, because I want them to understand that we have to specialize in our industry, and we do much more than putting a sign in the yard. And another question that you could ask them if their home has been on the market for a while is just simply ask them in the conversation, why do you feel your home hasn't sold yet? Or next, you can ask with them, what's your marketing plan? And then share with them your marketing plan. And William just said he's trying to talk, but I can't. Yeah, I'm just confirming, William, we can't hear you. So if you want to just keep trying, and I'll keep going until your microphone works. The next one is expired listings. If you want to go after some expireds. So one way that you can start the conversation is, I see your home just came off the market. If I brought you a buyer, are you still looking to sell? Again, I'm confirming that they're still interested in selling their home. 99% of the time they are, unless something significant happened in their life and they pulled it off the market. Most of the time they're still looking to sell. You can even ask them, why do you feel your home didn't sell the last time? Let them share with you some of the concerns they had, because obviously there's something that hasn't happened correctly with their previous agent. Otherwise, they would have had their home sold. You can even ask, you've already been through the listing process. What would you have done differently? Okay, again, let them share with you what they're looking for in an agent. And then my follow-up question to that would be, what deciding factors are you looking for in hiring your next and final agent? Okay. So I'm asking them, what are they looking for in hiring their next agent? But I also add the word final in there, so they understand if they hire me, they're not going to have to hire another agent and go through this entire process again. So there's a lot of psychology behind the words that you use. The next one here are internet leads. So if you're just strictly cold calling somebody that has visited your website, obviously here at eXp, we all get KV Core. So we have the benefit of being able to lead generate and have this CRM all built in one, which I absolutely love. But my conversation may look something like this. Hey, Sarah, this is Micah with eXp Realty. I noticed you were looking at 123 Main Street. Can you grab a pen and paper so I can share with you some information that's not available online? So a couple different things I did in that conversation. I introduced myself. I let them know why I was calling. I also let them know what address they were looking at, because obviously through KV Core, we have the ability to be able to see that. And then also I'm leading with value in that, can I grab you a pen and paper and share with you information not available online? And the reason I do that is you always want to lead with value. Otherwise, they might just kind of shut you off. But you could share your property disclosures. You could share a virtual tour link, whatever it may be, but always just lead with value. And you could even ask them, are you just browsing or actively looking for a home in the next 12 months? Okay. Again, I put that time period about 12 months out because if most buyers start looking 12 to 18 months in advance, the likeliness of you catching a lead and they're looking right now to move, as you guys know, that's why the conversion rates are so low. Also, you can ask them, do you have a home to sell? And how quickly are you looking to sell? So that way you can determine their motivation. So a lot of times we're focusing just on the buyer's leads, but we can also be able to double dip, if you will, on those leads and ask them if they're looking to sell as well. Door knocking. So one way that you can start strike up the conversation is we are hosting an open house down the street, and I'd like to invite you to a sneak preview for only the neighbors. Okay. I want them to be invited, but I want them to be invited to a sneak preview and not when all the other potential buyers are there, because we all know that neighbors are going to come to the open house. They're going to be nosy. So there's a reason why they're called the nosy neighbors. You can also start a conversation if you've post-closing. Say, we just sold your neighbor's house over asking in less than 24 hours. Do you know anyone else in the neighborhood that may be looking to sell? Okay, now of course, use those statistics only if they're accurate. But I'm also not only asking them if they're interested in selling, but asking, do you know anybody in the neighborhood looking to sell? So that way I'm getting their brain to, again, training their brain to start thinking, do I know anyone maybe that they've recently talked to that may be in the market to sell? The next one here, we just moved in the neighborhood and wanted to introduce ourselves as we would like to earn your trust in business as the local real estate expert. Of course, you could door knock if you just moved to the neighborhood. And the last here for door knocking is we just sold the home down the street and we have pre-approved buyers ready to go. Do you know anyone looking to sell? Okay, so if you notice, all of the scripts are less than 2 sentences long, and I'm always ending with the objective. So let it flow. Let your scripts flow. Scripts are meant to be the conversation on track. That's all scripts are. Like I said, they're the anatomy of the conversation. They're meant to keep the conversation on track. Prepare for the unexpected. So once you have practiced enough, then you can prepare for the unexpected and not let it throw you off course. Often we get thrown off course. It's only because we're not prepared, because for the most part, there's not going to be any question that we haven't heard before. And keep reverting back to your questions. So when we think about scripting and we think about the anatomy of the conversation, you want to listen to their answers, but then revert back to your script to the next question. Because again, you want to hit the objective. What is the objective of the conversation? And throughout the conversation, you want to find ways to connect with your potential client. How can you connect with them emotionally? And of course, we can use, we all have heard about FORD, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And so find different ways using that formula. Again, FORD is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Use it to build rapport and to be able to connect with your clients. And don't ask them, this is one of my biggest pet peeves when you pick up the phone, don't ask them, hey, this is Micah, how are you doing? Because this is how the conversation goes. Oh, I'm doing good, how about you? And the fact of the matter is, we all know we don't really care how they're doing right that moment. I know that sounds harsh, but nobody ever gets deeper than that. If you really cared, you would get deeper in that conversation. And so just don't ask how you're doing. Just lead into what your objective of the call is. You could even ask things like, how many bedrooms and baths do you want? Okay. Or is there a home that you've seen that comes to mind? I like this one because then they start describing some homes that they've seen. Maybe they've been to a couple of open houses. And so you get their mind thinking about mentally moving. Okay. So for those of you that are following the slides, I'm on slide 15, objection handling. So keep in mind, it's not you, it's the situation. You have to remove your personal feelings. And so if they try to, throw you one of the normal ones, a commission discount, the best way that you can handle a commission discount question is just simply, no, do you have any other questions? Okay. And the reason why I like this one so much is it just shows that you're professional. And most of the time their response is going to be, well, I just had to ask. Okay. For experience, if they hit you with the objection for lack of experience, if you're a new agent, then I would just say, hey, listen, I'm highly motivated, and that's what brought me here to meet with you today. And you could even look around the room and say, I don't see any other more experienced agents here, and just kind of saying jokingly with a smile. Okay, because you want to show them that you're hungry, you're motivated, and that's why you're in front of them. If they talk about timing, that they're not willing to sell yet, then especially if it's a for sale by owner or it's an expired, timing is just an excuse for the most part. So I would just ask them, did something change to make you not want to sell? And then pricing. So if they're wanting to overprice, because we all know we should not take a listing that's overpriced that we don't believe we can sell, then just simply tell them it's not about you or how I feel about what your home is worth, but what the market is telling us that will yield the most buyers. And I would lead into the next statement. I would rather see you decline 3 offers than never receive one because we're overpriced. So you have to make them understand that it's not about how they feel about the home. It's not how I feel about the home, but what are the statistics showing us and what's going to yield the most buyers? What's going to get us home? And in doing that, we need to show them the competition, not only on your typical CMA of the solds, but also what is currently active in their area and also pending, because that's going to be your competition. So keys to role playing. Some of the keys to role playing is get away from distractions. You must be laser focused. Okay, start role playing immediately. Don't have any small talk. So if you have an accountability call and let's say you're going to role play every Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, then make sure that you answer the phone as if you were role playing. I know William and I have done some role playing in front of other agents at live events locally, and you just have to roll right into it. There's absolutely no small talk. Create a schedule and commit. No cancellations or rescheduling. You want to cherish one another's time because time is sacred. So make sure you cherish and value that. And when you constantly cancel or reschedule, then that just shows me as your accountability partner that you don't cherish my time. So find an accountability partner who will be honest with your feedback and then also set objectives for the call. Okay, stay on script and give real feedback. Eliminate your ego. Keep in mind, you have asked that person to give you true feedback to help you out. So you have to eliminate your ego and your feelings and be receptive to the feedback. And then another thing that I would encourage you to do, because oftentimes accountability partners may be somebody that's in real estate, also get feedback from someone unrelated to your industry. And the reason why is you can often learn from the inexperienced because the experienced are already set in the ways of the way that they do business. But somebody that's inexperienced, so for all the new agents out there, let that be something of value to you that you can do things differently. So build your confidence and add value. There's a direct correlation between how much you're willing to practice and the results you'll achieve in business every day. Okay. No more listing presentations. Walk into an appointment as if you already secured the listing. Absolutely no question in your mind. If you walk in just to tell them about how great you are, I promise you've already lost the listing presentation. Walk in with the marketing plan. Okay, I have a 52-point marketing plan that I walk in as if I already got the listing, and I'm interviewing them more than they're interviewing me. Okay, control the conversation, not in a manipulative way, but don't let the client take over. Again, you have to remember you are the professional and there's a reason why they've hired you, and you have to remind them of that. Share your unique marketing plan. What will you do to help? And then make sure you do it. So share with them your marketing plan as opposed to just a standard listing presentation. And believe that you're the best possible option for them. Because if you don't believe that in your heart of hearts, then that is going to show and they're going to look elsewhere for other agents as they interview. So I have an 8-week FSBO strategy for drip campaigns. So you want to create a customized campaign specific to every one of these that we talked about: FSBOs, expireds, internet leads. Luckily, we can all do that through KV Core. But the first 4 weeks you're going to give. So it literally goes give, give, give. Then week 5 and 6 are share, share, share. And then 7, 8, explore, explore. So what that means in week 1 through 4, you're going to give. You're going to add value to them. Okay, because most FSBOs are not going to look at potentially listing with an agent until after 8 weeks, until they've gotten frustrated that they can't do it themselves. So you want to continue to add value and be there for them. Most agents aren't going to stick around in conversations for 8 weeks. Okay, week 5 and 6 are going to be your success stories. Share with them, listings that you've gotten under contract in the area, how you've helped other sellers, maybe some testimonials. And then week 7 and 8 are explore and looking at working together. So what does that look like for you? Okay. An agent texted me actually just yesterday. How can I'm going on a listing appointment, but I know that they're interviewing 3 other agents. How can I stand out? And I said, take a sold sign writer with you with a personalized note and leave it there before your listing appointment. Okay. Again, what can you do different that nobody else is going to do? And actually, I learned the next formula. It's called CATS, and I learned this years ago from one of our own, David Gagnon. And CAT stands for Complement, Attract, Takeaway, and Schedule. Complement, look through their social media, maybe find something that you can connect using that Ford formula. Attract, share information about yourself to build rapport. Takeaway, how can you help them? And then always make sure that you schedule. So that could either be schedule a call or your next meeting time. I apologize. I think somebody opened up their mic. All right. And then kind of the formula, the conversation, I have a call example, but for the sake of time, we won't play it here. But you can repeat, affirm, isolate, and close. Just think about that as a formula in your conversation and ask good questions. And remember, it's about them, not about you. So some of the questions could look like, what makes you want to move? In the perfect world, when would you like to close? When your home sells, where will you be moving? What are the 3 most important factors in a new home? Why is selling or buying a home so important to you right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to get started? And then I would even close with, what's your next step? So you're getting them to verbally commit to what their next step is. A marketing plan, how are you going to follow up? We all know that you need to follow up more than a couple times in order to increase your conversion rate. So you can do that through your CRM. Of course, customize your drip campaigns. And I love to video text. So I would say something, if I left a voicemail for a potential lead, I would send a video text and it would say something like this. Hey, this is Micah with eXp Realty. I just left you a voicemail and wanted you to put a face with a name. I look forward to chatting. So again, I'm shooting them a quick video text, just a little secret for the 236 users that we have in here. There's a lot of referrals that go out on Workplace. It's an awesome referral source. But instead of just tagging your name, why don't you send those agents a video text introducing yourself? And I guarantee you're going to stand out from the other 20 agents that are competing for that same referral. Also, obviously, we want to check the do not call registry. And then for sell by owners, place a sign writer and note on their front porch. We talked about that. Be unique in everything that you do. Stand out from the crowd. And so one thing that I would recommend, a book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, is amazing. And it talks about not being in competition with anyone else. So if you really think about and stop doing what the pack is doing and do something completely different, then you're no longer in competition with anyone else. And of course, there's a minimum of 8 touches to convert. Most agents stop after 1 or 2. So somebody asked, what is a sign writer? So I know every state is a little bit different, but a lot of signs will have a little writer at the top when you get a home under contract that says sold. So you could just simply provide them a sign writer. They're not very expensive. And then a little personalized note, something like, it was great meeting you today. Here's a sign writer. I hope this will be yours soon. Or, something a little bit silly, but just put a personal touch to it. And then the next one is be committed in 10X. I know William is a huge 10X Grant Cardone fan as well. But basically Grant Cardone, he teaches the whole 10X concept to 10X all of your goals. And so you want to overflow your pipeline. That's the only way to create consistent business and be ready for all seasons of your business is by overflowing your pipeline of more leads than you can handle. Make prospecting a priority to drive results. So we talked about that plan. You have to start with prospecting. Otherwise, you won't see the closings until you prospect. Track your own personal conversion rates and compare them to the national conversion rates. How can you increase your conversion rate? And track your hourly worth. That's really important because when we look at delegating and leveraging others, if we know our hourly worth, then it becomes easier to go and delegate those $10 an hour jobs. You also want to track your ROI, so your return on investment, and commit to daily activity. So we talked about the power hour every single day. You have to commit to daily activity every single day. And so I would suggest starting from 8 to 9 and consider that your prospecting power hour. And over time, you will build momentum and be able to stabilize your business. And of course, update and work out of your CRM every single day. So the homework before we get into questions, I think we've got just a few more minutes here. Randy, I believe it was just at 4:45, but the homework here is implement what you have learned. What are the top 3 things you will implement immediately? Take a look at your schedule and take time every day to practice role play and call every single day. Choose your toolkit, which is your CRM, your dialer, your drip campaigns, your lead method, etc. And then find an accountability partner. So we have 235 users in here right now. I hope some of you stick around and find an accountability partner. And you could even meet in World every single week. So I'm going to just kind of pause for a moment and see if William is able to talk, because I know that he was trying earlier.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you, William. Yay.
Oh, perfect. It took 45 minutes, but I got audio working.
Awesome. So, William, anything, for those of you that don't know, he's an Icon agent here. He's in Oklahoma City, where I'm from. He's one of the top agents. And so, William, I know you do a lot of lead generation, a lot of script coaching. What would you add to somebody just getting started?
Yeah, so I would say the easiest way to really communicate with the buyer or seller is just ask a lot of questions. Allow them to talk, especially the sellers. They like talking about them and how great their home is, how great they are, and just allow them to talk. I come across a lot of agents that like to hear themselves talk, and they feel like they need to do most of the talking, whether it's on the phone or in the listing presentation. And in my experience, and with really mastering scripts, is I just usually say a couple opening statements and then ask a lot of good questions, and then hit on what you said, affirm and repeat. Fantastic, that sounds great, and then hit them with another question, or fantastic, that's great. So what I'm hearing you say is this, and this, and then follow with another question. So I think for me, one of the biggest things I would say is just find a script that's more question based than the agent talking based.
Awesome. And somebody just asked, what are the top 3 questions? Do you want to kind of just role play a basic conversation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. We can definitely do that. Just really to hit on that just real quick. For me, I would say one of the top 3 things that I would be where, timeline, and really motivation. How motivated? So where are they going? When do they need to be there? And then another motivation question. If you like what you hear, are you ready to list now? If you like, are you ready? Something along the lines of that. And there's a lot of scripts. I have some scripts that are very question based, but you've got to get the motivation. So what I'm hearing you say is you need to be in Florida by July, things like that. Okay. And then you start going into your other follow-up questions. That's on the selling side. But like I said, just very question based is kind of my way of scripting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You want to just do a quick role play and then we can open it up for questions?
Sure. My audio is going in and out, so I'm hoping it's working now for you guys to like for me to stay connected here.
Yeah. We'll try it out. I can hear you right now, but I'll let you know if it goes out. Awesome. Ring, ring. Oh, I might have lost him. William, did I lose you? Okay, yeah, and for those of you that are asking, I don't have a PDF of the presentation, but just use that live link and you'll be able to pull it up. And I think we just have a couple minutes here. Randy, feel free to kick me out if we're over time, but just want to see if anyone has any questions.
Can I role play with you?
Sure, go ahead.
Yes.
Which,
Okay, you be the agent, I be the customer.
okay, fantastic. Great. And I'm sorry, who is this? I don't see your name.
This is Lynn. This is Lynn.
Okay. Hey, Lynn, this is Micah Mruwat with eXp Realty. I just saw that you were on my website and looking at 123 Main Street, and just wanted to see if there was anything that you saw in the home that you liked.
Yes, I actually like how the house is very spacious, and there's 3 bedroom, which is what I'm looking for, and 2 bathroom on the first and second floor. So I'm just kind of looking right now, though.
Okay, so you mentioned spacious. Can I ask you what are some of the reasons that you're looking for more space currently?
I have a growing family, and my daughter needs her own room. So we have a 2 bedroom house right now, and it's kind of small. So I'm looking for more space with the two children that I have that are different, a boy and a girl.
Oh, awesome. How old are they?
They are actually going to be teenagers soon. So that's the reason why they have to have separate rooms.
They grow fast, don't they? I've got 2 kids myself, so I certainly understand needing more space. Do you have a certain timeline that we need to go off of?
Actually, 6 months was what I was looking to start. 6 months from now, I was going to start looking, but I figured I didn't have anything to do. So I wanted to see what was out in the market.
Yeah, well, I'd be more than happy to help you. Let's go ahead and I'd like to get down your criteria, and we'll set you up on a specialized search. And just for the sake of time, I'll kind of cut it off there. But, at that point, I would try to get all their information and then make sure that I follow up. I put them on a search. I put them on a drip campaign and keep in touch. So if you notice, we got their motivation. I got their timeline, but I was also able to connect through, some of the kids' conversations. So any other questions?
Hey, Mike, I think I'm back on.
Oh, yes. Hey, William.
Sorry about that. I don't know how much time we have left, but if you wanted to do an expired call, we can do something like that since you just a buyer.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it.
Okay. So I'll be the agent, and I'll go through my script that I use on expired. So ring, calling you.
Hello.
Hey, this is William Manhan with eXp Realty. And the reason I'm calling is twofold. One, to be sure that you know that your home is no longer listed for sale. And 2, to see what your plans are for the property.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any plans right now. I mean, honestly, my phone's just been ringing off the hook today since it expired. So I've had like 100 agents call.
Micah, let me ask you a question. Had the home sold? Where were you moving to?
Well, the hope was if it sold in time, we were actually going to move to Florida. I was hoping to relocate before the school year.
Oh, fantastic. So Florida's a great state. So what takes you there?
We just have always loved it. And so just, with COVID-19 stuff and then kids are out of school, we just thought it might be a good time.
Right. Well, let me ask you, how soon do you need to be there?
There's no true timeline other than, ideally before the kids start school. So that's why we had put the house on the market, in the early part of the year.
Early part of the year. Okay. Well, Micah, what do you think stops your home from selling?
I didn't have a lot of communication with the agent, and I'm not sure how well they marketed it, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, how did you pick your last agent that you listed with?
Just one of my friends recommended her. I didn't really have any previous relationship.
Well, I know you just said the marketing part, but let me ask you, what did that agent do that you liked the best?
She was nice. She'd been in the industry a while, but it just seems after our, when we signed the listing agreement, just the communication kind of died off after that.
Communication. Okay, so what I'm hearing you is maybe some marketing and communication. So what do you feel that they should have done?
I would have liked some weekly, updates, what's going on, some feedback. I didn't get a lot of feedback from the showings, and honestly, I looked it up on that Zillow and didn't see a whole lot of activity there. So I think definitely some more marketing would have helped.
More marketing. Okay. So, my next question kind of leads into that. With that part of it, what would you expect from your next agent you choose?
I would like some weekly updates. I'd like to see it, all over social media. I'm on Facebook myself, so I'm assuming that's where a lot of people are because that's where I'm looking for my next home. So, I'd expect to see it blasted everywhere.
Absolutely. I completely understand what you're saying, and that's probably the way it should be done. But Micah, I would love to apply for the job of selling your home. Are you familiar with the techniques that we use to sell over 150 homes a year?
No, wow, you sell 150. That's good. Good for you.
Well, we would love to come sit down with you and show you our marketing plan, our marketing strategy, and how we do that. When would be the best time for you, Monday or Tuesday at 4?
Let's see, Monday I have something. Tuesday at 4 would be good.
Perfect. I got you down. There. Boom.
Awesome.
So basically, for me, just like I said, just asking a lot of questions and getting you talking, try to make it as smooth as possible.
Right. I like how you redirected the conversation several times. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much, William. I think you did a great job. I think we probably have to head out here before the next class. I'll just open it up if we've got any other questions, just maybe 2 more questions, and then I think we'll have to head out. Nobody? All right. Well, I appreciate it. I hope you guys stick around. Maybe find an accountability partner before you get out of here. And as Lisa posted the survey, please take just a couple moments and let us know how we can continue to improve. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Micah. That was amazing. We appreciate you always. And I could tell everyone got so much out of that session. Guys, if you love that session, do me a favor, click on that link there in the chat box. Show Micah some love. Let us know over at the university how amazing her session was. Please, everyone, click on that link. Micah, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. We appreciate so much.